All right, so the question of the day is, how do you get hot women to show up to your parties? How did I just recently host an event with a bunch of entrepreneurs and women, especially a ton that I didn't even know and didn't even have to do any work to recruit? I'll tell you exactly how. So just recently I threw a party that had a red carpet, a backdrop, champagne, photography, 100 people show up, and it was an awesome time. We had a DJ, good vibes, exclusive venue. People want to know what I did, how it works, and I'll explain it to you right now. So, first things first is I came up with the idea in my mind. I decided that I wanted to host an event just because for me it's important for me to meet new people, expand my network and circle, and also keep my relationship fun and exciting too. I've got a girlfriend, so I can't just work on my business and sit at home all the time. I've got to keep the attraction alive by doing fun and exciting and new things that put me in a position of leadership, that put me in a position of authority, and really just paint me in the light of somebody that is desirable, right? You got to be the guy that other guys want to be and that other women want to be with in order to make friends and have a girlfriend. So that's just a fact. So basically, from there, just went and approached a couple of really popular venues nearby to me in the most desirable locations and went in there in person and introduced myself and just let them know that, hey, I'm a guy that's a local around here and I like to put together groups and parties and host events, and wanted to see if they had availability for the end of January to do a kickoff party to 2026. And one of them got back to me, actually the one that I wanted the most. They said yes, actually we've been thinking about turning our venue into a more exclusive events type of scene, so we'd love to do this and partner with you and treat it as a pilot for us, and then give some value to you. And I said, okay, let's do it on a Saturday night. And they agreed to give me the entire venue for a Saturday night, shut the doors down. And in exchange, all they wanted from me was for me to hit a minimum spend at the bar threshold. Now, that minimum spend threshold was 5,000. And, for any guys out there that have done this before, you understand that that's a pretty steep minimum spend. I don't have to come out of pocket for it, but the party has to spend that at the bar. The guests do, right? That can be tough to hit. Now, I wanted the venue bad enough that I went ahead and agreed to it. Most venues will, a lot of them will do it completely pro bono. Um, Other ones will do 1,000 minimum or 2,000, but the best ones to get the best of your best, it's probably going to be in that range, right? The 3, 4, 5,000. But I agreed, and I said I'll do it on one condition. You guys have to pay for the step and repeat plus the red carpet. So the step and repeat is the backdrop, and then where you take photos. That's usually about $1,000 expense. And so I convinced them to do that because they wanted to be an events venue. So I said, you guys need to have this for your future events, right? So you need to have this backdrop and this red carpet, not just for me, but in the future. So they agreed. So that saves me on a big expense there. So far, I'm not out of pocket for anything. Now, I did end up paying for a photographer at the end of the event. A buddy of mine, I gave him $200 just because I wanted to get the job done correctly, and I wanted to, pay him for his time to, have a good job get done. So, minus $200, boo freaking who, right? That's the price of a weekend if you're, going out. So whatever, $200. And as far as how I got the people there is very straightforward, man. I created the RSVP link on Posh, and then I set up a group chat on Instagram. So initially, when I started inviting people, I just sent them the link to the group chat on Instagram and said, "Hey, if you want to come to this party that I'm throwing, click the link to join." It takes them into the group chat, and then the group chat has a message that gives them information and then points them to the RSVP Posh link. So sent that invitation out to as many guys as I knew. And the crazy thing is I did not invite one single woman to this event. So if you guys look at the pictures on my Instagram from this party, I did not invite any of those girls. I knew none of them, right? I wanted to be respectful of my girlfriend, so I didn't invite a single woman. And what I did do was invite a bunch of guys, and then when they said that they wanted to go, I said, "Cool, man, could use your help to recruit women to this party." And the crazy thing is that there's a good handful of guys that will gladly do that. It's an opportunity for them to do that. I've already arranged the day, place, time, the venue, and I've set everything up. Guys need a way to spice up their dating pipelines as well, right? So if they've got a bunch of women that they've been dealing with or talking to, they can't just keep asking them all out on dates. To be able to invite all of them to an event is a great thing. And it makes it easy for me because all I've got to do is ask other guys if they want to go ahead and help me recruit, which they almost always do, because why not, you know? And so the next thing I knew, my Instagram chat was up at like 175 people. There was about 125 people that registered on to the Posh. We had about 100 people show up. And like I said, mostly entrepreneurs, a lot of attractive women. None of them, like, I mean, I barely interacted with any of them. Like I said, I've got a girlfriend, but the ratio was great. The quality is good. Go check out the photos at New City Mastery on Instagram. So I didn't do any of the inviting, and there was one caveat, right? So the party went really well, the vibe was really good. I ended up not hitting the minimum spend for the tab, but that's just because there was a little like misunderstanding with the venue where there was a hard cutoff for me at 11 p.m. And I kind of thought I was just putting that out there as like parameters, and we would be able to go on later into the night. But we ended up getting a hard cutoff at 11, and that prevented me from being able to hit that minimum threshold. So I did have to cover a little bit of the rest. So not really a big deal to me though, because at the end of the day, I got 2 calls booked for my business that resulted in clients. So that money gets recouped anyways. Anybody can have that same system if you're an entrepreneur. But more importantly, I'm not afraid to spend money. So if you're a guy that doesn't have a couple $100 in his pocket, then you have way bigger issues, right? Like if a couple $100, which the price of, I used to spend thousands of dollars, doing bottle service on the weekends and get a couple people to show up. And so, a little bit of money to have a 100-person exclusive event is not that big of a deal, especially when you make it back through your business. Now, that's not including like all of the new introductions that I got, all of the new followers I got on Instagram, all of the people reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I saw that one of my friends was at your party, like invite me to," all the people hitting me up. Like that's all those benefits. Like let's just not forget about that, right? Um, the the network that I've built is even bigger now, and it tees me up perfectly for my next event. Why? Because I can speak with this venue, show them all the photos, show them how good the party was, and I can begin to get some leverage behind like renegotiating some of the terms and clarifying some of the stuff with like the timings and the minimum spend now that they trust me. And all of the people that had an awesome time at this event will come back to the next one plus more. So I'm really like in a great place to do something again in the near future. And I also want to say this, right? Like I didn't invite any of the women, right? So like if you're a single guy, think about that. Like you could host these events and just invite dudes and ask dudes to bring women, and you could just be getting all of these introductions funneling to you. Not to mention you're on Hinge, invite the women from Hinge. Not to mention you might be cold approaching, invite the women from your cold approaching, and then use my system and start running Instagram ads. Like if you're a single guy, like the fact that you're not doing this is just like such a mistake. Like I literally put very, very minimal effort into doing this, and it's like the return that you would get if I was single would be like astronomical, like it's just like this really is like the ultimate method, the ultimate cheat code to meeting new people. There's nobody that's going to convince me otherwise. This is like literally the best. This is like the best strategy that's ever existed. And if you're not doing this, there's probably one of 2 reasons. Like number one, you're either scared or you're just lazy. So if you're scared, I've got bad news for you. Like you're never going to be successful in any area of your life. Why? It's because you're not a man, you're a child. You're run by your emotions, right? Being a man is all about having the ability and the capacity to act in spite of fear, to act in spite of adversity, and be able to take actions that are consistent with who you want to be, not how you want to feel, not how you feel, right? Of course, was I nervous? Sure. I mean, was there a little bit of butterflies? Yeah, absolutely. But if you're the type of guy that avoids that, natural selection will just weed your genetics out of existence as it should. No offense. Um, you got to be able to act in spite of fear, or else you're just a man that's contained by a life in a cage, and you're gonna be destined to live a life of quiet desperation if you can't overcome that. The second thing is if you're lazy, right? If you're not doing this because you're lazy, then the universe will not reward you and you don't deserve it, right? The universe will weed out the undeserving by making things slightly difficult to basically just make sure that nobody that doesn't deserve it doesn't have it. That's just facts. If you're lazy, then don't complain. If you don't have the results or success that you want in your life, no wonder. Like you have nobody to blame but yourself. So if you're ready to overcome your laziness with this, and if you're ready to overcome your fear with this, I'm here to help you. I'll walk you through it, and you'll host an event the exact same way that I just did, with a ton of women and a ton of new friends and a ton of content that goes on Instagram where everybody in my city sees it and knows who I am. Just click the link that's below this video, or just shoot me a message. Go to New City Mastery on Instagram, and I'll literally just break down what I think that you should do. We can do a quick screen share. I can show you venues that other guys have used in your city. I'll tell you exactly what I suggest, and let's make it happen, man. Cheers to 2026. See you guys on Instagram. Look out for the next event that I'm going to be hosting. If I host my next event before you host your first event, don't be mad if I steal your girlfriend. Don't be mad if I make more money than you. Don't be mad if my clients win faster than you. That's the reason why. We're all using the same system, and it's a 3-year optimized process. So I'll see you guys there. Peace.